Hi, everyone. Welcome to NorthStar Gaming's live webinar covering the company's Q2 results and a corporate update. This is Trevor Brucato with RB Milestone Group, the US-based investor relations firm for NorthStar. For those new to the story, NorthStar is a Canadian-based iGaming company that combines a world-class online casino and sportsbook experience, complemented by original sports news and gaming content from strategic partners. NorthStar Gaming Holdings is listed in Canada on the TSX Venture under the symbol BET, and in the US on the OTCQB under the symbol NSBBF. Joining us today is NorthStar's chairman and CEO, Michael Moskowitz, who will be providing a brief overview of the current operations, and then he'll go over the Q2 results and upcoming milestones. After Michael's prepared remarks, we will open up to questions. If you are interested in asking a question along the way, you can submit them in the Q&A module. Please note this presentation is being recorded today, August 14th, 2024, and will soon be made available on the company's website at northstargaming.ca. Following today's presentation, we will be sending a brief investor survey which covers NorthStar's strengths, weaknesses, and operational milestones. The trends established will enable NorthStar to better communicate with its stakeholders moving forward and gear the focus of upcoming events. So your participation would be much appreciated. Now for a quick disclaimer, please note today's presentation may contain forward-looking statements that are subject to risks and uncertainties that may be out of NorthStar's control and should not be construed as a recommendation or a solicitation to buy or sell any security. NorthStar's full disclaimer can be found in the presentation, as you can see here, and on their website at northstargaming.ca. Lastly, RB Milestone Group is not a registered investment advisor or broker-dealer. For more information on us, please visit rbmilestone.com. And now it is my pleasure to turn it over to NorthStar's chairman and CEO, Michael Moskowitz. Michael, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Trevor, and good morning, everyone. As you may have seen, we announced our second quarter results yesterday. We'll devote a good portion of today's presentation to a review of those results, followed by a discussion of keys to our success to date and a preview of upcoming priorities. First, very quickly, for those of you who may not be familiar with NorthStar Gaming, we operate an online betting platform. NorthStar is at the intersection point of iGaming and media. This is a reflection of how the company was founded, and it still holds true today as we aggressively expand our market presence in Canada. Let us first touch on the highlights of the NorthStar Gaming story. First, we operate in a $8.5 billion Canadian total addressable market. The Ontario regulated market launched in April of 2022, and the rest of Canada opened up for us and NorthStarBets.com platform in November of 2023. NorthStar has an industry-leading gaming content and technology platform. It's absolutely critical to our success. We've got the best-in-class partners powered by our platform and user experience. We've got a proprietary content and local customization that creates a very unique user experience to delight our players and keep them coming back. From a funding perspective, we've got a cornerstone investment from Playtech. Playtech is a technology partner along with a key investor of ours. They're the largest B2B iGaming software company in the world. They've chosen NorthStar as their partner in Canada to market, and to date, they've invested over $23 million plus ongoing marketing support. We've got an experienced management team with local knowledge and insights targeting the Canadian audience, a very diverse background of iGaming, technology, consumer products, and media. This is true for both the executive team, senior leadership team, and the board level. We've got a differentiated positioning as a premium offering leading to a superior customer experience and user economics. For example, we've got very high player values and attractive payback rates on acquired players. We've also got a variable cost model which fully aligns incentives amongst our vendors and NorthStar. Our business model is very highly scalable with significant operating leverage as we grow the business. We've got relatively low investment up front with great tech stack and experience. and our partners are rewarded as we grow, they grow, with lots of upside once we pass the break-even point. We'll expand on the investment highlights throughout this presentation today. Now let's turn to our second quarter financial results. We had a record-setting quarter for us, an all-time high for each of our major metrics: total wagering, gross gaming revenue, revenue and gross margin, year-over-year growth ranging from 41% to 69%. Total wagers represented the dollar value of the bets placed by our customers, driven by the number of active bettors and their activity level in a period. Wagers in Q2 2024 reached 225.5 million. It's the highest of any quarter in the company's history. We're up 65 million or 41% from Q2 of 2023. In the first 6 months of 2024, wagers achieved 443.5 million, which was an increase of 143 million or 48% over the previous first half of 2023. An increase of total wagering drives an increase in our other key metrics. But as you'll see this year, we have grown revenue faster than wagering. Revenue, which includes managed services, fees, net of bonuses, promotional costs, and free bets, was 7.5 million in the second quarter, again, a record quarter for us. Revenue growth of 61% in Q2 exceeds the growth in total wagering due to more favorable payout ratios. And for the year-to-date period, revenue increased 5.1 million or 62% to 13.4 million. Also very important is gross margin of 3.2 million in the second quarter was up 69% from Q2 of 2023. Our year-to-date gross margin increased by 77% to 5.4 million. Margins have also been increasing as a percentage of revenue to 42% in Q2 of 2024, the latest quarter, and 40% year-to-date. In summary, gross margin is growing more rapidly than revenue. It's an important indicator of our operating leverage, and I'll come back to this point in a moment. Also, expect fixed costs to represent a smaller percentage of revenues as the business continues to scale. Q2 is a continuation of steady growth we've delivered since the launch of NorthStar Bets in May of 2022. In the meantime, we've established a platform we believe compares extremely well with any of our competitors in the Canadian market. As for ongoing growth, likely any normal high-growth business, revenue is not always a straight line. As we grow, there will be some variation quarter to quarter due to seasonality in the business, which is absolutely natural. We focus on year-to-year results, and on this basis, we have always shown significant growth. Interesting to note that we've also grown faster than the market. iGaming Ontario published industry-wide data, and in recent quarters, our year-over-year growth exceeds that of the overall market. This demonstrates that we're gaining market share and validates the strength of our platform. I'd like to spend a little time on operating leverage. This is an important aspect of our business model as we mature. We've invested in the people and the infrastructure capable of managing much higher betting volumes with minimal added resources. As we scale the business and grow revenues, we're seeing operating leverage and expenses remain relatively flat. To illustrate this, we took our first half results and compared them to the same period of last year. Added 5.1 million in revenue with minimal impact on operating expenses. Of our two largest OpEx line items, G&A, it decreased year over year, and marketing was up marginally, but well below the 60% plus we've grown in revenue. Assuming that we're able to maintain this pattern, and we believe we can, it takes us to a break-even point once we scale to a certain point. We've not provided guidance on expected timing of profitability, but we'll consider doing so once we have a solid visibility and we are making good progress. Let me conclude the review of Q2 with a recap of some recent achievements. We raised 3 million in short-term debt funding from Playtech. We renewed a $4 million Playtech affiliate program. This was used to accelerate our player acquisition strategy, which is key to fuel our future. We surpassed $1 billion in wagering since the launch of NorthStar Bets in May of 2022. And from a product enhancement perspective, we released NorthStar's industry-leading Insights 2.0 vertical and expanded the product offering with exclusive NorthStar Elite branded tables and a new VIP program that launched during Q1. With respect to the geographic expansion, we're beginning to solidify market growth in the rest of Canada with the First Nations partnership. As you can see, NorthStar has established a strong track record of growth. Over the next several slides, I'll summarize the strategies that enabled us to achieve these results and position us well for continued success. First is our premium positioning in the market. From the time we launched, we positioned NorthStar Bets as a premium online betting platform. Industry-leading content and technology, which I mentioned earlier, simplifying the customer experience and making sure that it's effortless, and targeting the most valuable players. This has led to several very important outcomes. One is lower cost per acquisition of the customer. That decreased 12% in Q2 of 24 versus prior year. Number two is steady growth of active players. It increased 48% year over year. And number three, it's the highest estimated 12-month player values. It increased by 7% in Q2 versus previous year. Results like these generate real financial benefit. This slide shows our payback ratio compared to two different peers. We're realizing a payback of just over 2 months. Two competitors we analyzed were at 5.8 months and 10.9 months. Payback ratio is the amount of time it takes for us to break even on an average new customer based on investment we made to acquire that player and their activities once they sign in. We perform really well on both aspects of the calculation. Our player values are relatively high, combined with ongoing efficiency of our marketing spend. It represents a significant cost advantage as we scale this business. This slide illustrates the world-class technology and partnerships that power our gaming engine. Most of this is not visible to the players, and some of these brands are not household brands, but they're really well known in the industry. Playtech is the largest B2B software provider company in our space. It operates in multiple jurisdictions, and they have supported our expansion with managed services, technology, gaming, and marketing services, not to mention our financing backbone. Kambi provides sportsbook technology. They're one of the largest sportsbook in the world, accounts for 40% of the handle in North America. And then we've integrated other world-class gaming partners like IGT and Microgaming into our stack. We've now got over 800 of the best-in-breed, most popular casino games, and we continue to build upon our portfolio to keep the content really fresh. There are several other important AI technology partners in our digital marketing and tech stack that enable us to target market and increase performance across the board. This has enabled us to layer on our own customization, consistent with our premium position and the needs of our Canadian market. Ultimately, this provides our players with a fantastic user experience. Now, I'd like to touch on the differentiated product and business model. The technology partners I just described enable us to focus our efforts and resources on acquiring and retaining players. This is consistent with our premium positioning and serves as a competitive advantage for our Canadian market. That market is estimated to reach $7.7 billion of gross gaming revenue this year alone. 80% of that is shared amongst the large international brands, but 20% of the market is very niche and local. Still, a significant slice of the overall pie is $1.5 billion. Just for perspective, if you're 3% of the overall market in Canada when it matures, it's a $200 million business. So we have significant opportunity for growth and expansion in this market. An important differentiator for us is content, and that we call sports insights. These are proprietary articles, analysis, betting strategies, tips, and statistics. You can see some examples on this slide. We produce all of this with our in-house team of writers. They're experienced sports journalists. integrated content directly into our betting environment, which is a unique in our space. In 2024, we've been rolling out new features and content that we call Sports Insights 2.0. This ultimately leads to higher engagement and stickiness. Our most active Sports Insights readers, in comparison to non-readers, generate higher average deposits. It's actually 87% higher in Q2. Higher online casino turnover, 41% higher in Q2. Higher GGR, and higher sports betting turnover, actually 98% higher in Q2. This is lifting the overall value of our players. And the final section of today's presentation, before we open up the floor to questions, is a review of our priorities going forward to maintain this accelerated growth. I'd like to focus on 4 key areas in the second half of the year and moving into 2025. The first is our operational excellence. Customer service and retention is fundamental and at the center of everything we do with our customer. It remains a key point of differentiation for us. Personalized contact, getting all the routine things right, and clear alignment of the team's priorities. This includes new features and services tied to our NorthStar Elite program aimed at our most active and valuable players. And maintain disciplined control of expenses while making targeted investments to support our pillars of growth. Strategic partnerships. We spoke about Playtech and other technology partners in the past. We also have a partnership with NorthStar, one of Canada's largest media companies, to distribute our content. This is the sports insights I've discussed earlier and helps drive customers to our site. We have a dedicated tab in the Toronto Star along with Toronto's extensive digital properties. We have strategies to accelerate our expansion by leveraging the capabilities and connections of these partners. The other 2 areas of focus are product innovation and expansion within the Canadian market. We have a slide to elaborate on each one of these ideas. Our approach to product innovation is incrementally better and fundamentally different. Small scale continuous improvements rather than these home runs ties back to our operational excellence approach. Our customers may not even notice all the changes, but they've got a better overall experience, and this ultimately drives performance across our platform. And better, that's enhancing quality, reliability, speed, and simplicity. This leads to sustained customer satisfaction and retention. And then different. These are innovations that set us apart from the competition, things that customers value, that drive loyalty. Sports Insights is an example. This is something that we're doing that others are not. And we plan to announce in the coming weeks exciting initiatives in this pipeline as well. We expect market expansion within Canada to drive growth for us. Overall, the Canadian market is estimated to be $8.5 billion, as I mentioned, in 2026. And currently, most of our revenue is currently generated in Ontario. It's the largest province and first to license online betting. Ontario is estimated to be $3.3 billion by 2026, and this year it's on track to exceed $3 billion. But Ontario is only 39% of the population in Canada. The potential market outside of Ontario is actually $5.2 billion, which is large. We expect that Alberta will be the next province to license online betting next year. Likely to be similar approach as Ontario, both casino and sportsbook to be regulated. It's smaller in Ontario, but a very attractive market. They've got the youngest average adult age. It's got the highest per capita GDP, and the estimated market value is about $1 billion. That would put it at the 8th largest jurisdiction in North America. And then we move to the rest of Canada. We address this market by providing managed services to NorthStarBets.com, an iGaming site owned and operated by the First Nations group, the Abenaki of Williamsburg. We launched this late in 2023. We're still in the early stage of investment and growth by leveraging our existing people and assets. We do see spillover benefits from our existing media and marketing spend and we will continue to build our brand outside of Ontario, as well as a database of customers. This should give us a head start should additional provinces become regulated in the future. As a Canadian company, we certainly view all Canada as a natural market. And the final slide summarizes our cap table. It's a fairly diversified shareholder base. Directors and senior officers are large holders. We've got 2 large seed investors, plus our large technology partner, Playtech, which are represented on the board. Also noteworthy that our enterprise value is approximately 23 million. It's roughly equal to our trailing 12 months of revenue, much lower valuation than our peers. And even though we are growing at 60% plus, we think it's good value. So with that, hopefully I've given an overview of our current situation and how we're moving forward. And at this point, I'm pleased to take questions. Trevor, could you please remind the listeners of the process of submitting questions?
Thank you, Michael. As mentioned, we will now open up to Q&A. If you do have a question, you can submit them in the Q&A module at the bottom of your Zoom app or web platform. If we are not able to get to all of the questions today, we will do our best to address them via email in a timely manner. So let's kick off with question 1 here. How is NorthStar so successful on user conversions at 2.1 months versus its peers, as you've mentioned in one of the slides, at 5.8 months and 10.9 months?
Yeah, I think most of it is, so to answer the question, there's 2 elements of that. One is the cost per acquisition, as I mentioned, and the other is the player values. The player values are extremely high, and that is creating a much shorter payback period for our cost of acquisition. Despite our cost of acquisition going down over the year-over-year, which I mentioned, the player values are going up, and that is a testament to the unique product, our differentiation, and our retention strategies. So that's the main reason for that. And in this business, it's all about player values and how much they're spending on your platform.
Thank you, Michael. How do you envision quickly expanding throughout the rest of Canada outside the already established Ontario region to tap into the $5.2 billion market opportunity?
I think it's step by step for us. We've had relatively strong success related to the Ontario market. We have learned a tremendous amount as it relates to our CRM and our target marketing, our channels of distribution and acquisition. We will take those learnings and have taken those learnings and replicated those in rest of Canada, and drive the player values that we're seeing in Ontario, combined with what we think is lower acquisition costs. I think the important thing about rest of Canada is targeting in particular jurisdictions. We're targeting primarily Western Canada, Alberta, and BC through our partnership. But more importantly, we're taking the best practices from Ontario. And from a cost perspective, we're leveraging all the assets that we have internally. So not required to have a significant different organization to scale it outside of Ontario, which is very economical.
And Michael, I believe Slapshot Media is a crucial partner here in the quick expansion. Perhaps you can elaborate on what that company's all about.
Well, we acquired the company about a year ago or so, and that essentially gave us the ability to provide managed services to the First Nations, which we do. That effectively gives us the pipeline that we built the .com platform. But essentially, we're utilizing the resources and the strategies internally to support that managed service relationship.
So quickly establishing a footprint by leveraging their existing foundation. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Perfect. Any update on land-based casino partnerships and iBingo?
I mean, there's no specific update on that. We are a digital play, and that was our priority from day one. We haven't had any discussion around that. iBingo is something that is being investigated, but we do have a bunch of other strategic initiatives underway so that we're evaluating it. But more to come on that. But iBingo is something that that can be done fairly quickly. It's just a question is there enough value in that product to proceed? That was one question. And what was the second part of that, Trevor? Was there a second part?
No, land-based casinos and iBingo there.
They're one and the same.
Yep. From more of a financial perspective here, a good amount of questions. In addition to seeing revenues and gross margins, I'm sure other metrics as well, but is there one key indicator, one key metric in the iGaming sector or industry that investors can keep an eye on to show NorthStar's business is continuing to grow in the right direction?
Well, I think it's the I think the market growth of the industry versus the market growth of NorthStar is one. And I think the other, so that's from an industry perspective. I think the other key metric that I would be looking at is, how quickly gross margin is accelerating as it relates to revenue in our platform. I think it's really important because over time we're seeing gross margin not only cover G&A, but now also start to cover a very large cost, which is marketing. Yes, our marketing is coming down, but that gross margin is starting to cover the marketing as well. And once that happens, you get to break even, and then you see the acceleration through that. So I think overall, it's about the growth of the industry is key and how we're tracking to that growth. And the second part to that is how we're faring as it relates to gross margin and covering our expenses. One is G&A and the other one is marketing.
Michael? What is NorthStar's strategy around funding continued growth?
I mean, we have we have continuously funded the business. Funding is always the top priority for us. We continue to review that. So listen, all I can tell you is we've raised money, as you can see, in last quarter, another 3 million plus the affiliate program. We continue to raise money and working diligently to continue to fuel our future. And as we do that, we will update the shareholders as such. But we know that there's capital required to fuel our business, and it is our utmost priority, as it has been in the past.
Any thoughts on equity versus debt, current balance sheet situation?
I mean, we're evaluating, what's best for the shareholders. So again, we'll have more information on that as we move forward. But I think, if you look at what we've done in the past, we've just from the last one was a kind of short-term debt funding, and this affiliate program were two that supported shareholders, and we'll continue to keep that in mind and review that.
Sounds like management and the board is cognizant of dilution while also looking at let's say strategic opportunities for that continued growth.
Absolutely. So,
can you talk a little bit about the competitive landscape, and we'll probably end there, and then we'll go into a bit of an overview from your perspective.
Yeah, listen, I think we described that pretty well. The competitive landscape in Canada is and in Ontario in particular, is quite robust. I mean, there's over 50 operators, and 80% of the market is taken by a few large international players. I think that's the reality of the situation. We've been very specific on that, but there is a very large market opportunity that is focused exclusively on local, and that is about 20% of the market. That equates to about $1.5 billion. And as I mentioned, you look at 3% market share and you're at $200 million. Like, this business scales extremely fast. So, having a disproportionate share of the local market is our goal with the NorthStar brand, and we'll continue to achieve that. With that, you will see excessive and extended growth over periods of time. As it relates to rest of Canada, again, the only market that has been regulated is Ontario. We hope to see Alberta open up very shortly. I think that's going to give us a tremendous opportunity to replicate all the great work and the marketing and the brand in Ontario and replicate that in the province of Alberta. As I mentioned, it'll be about a third the size of Ontario, and it'll be almost a replication of Ontario. So that'll be really a lift. And then we'll continue to focus on other jurisdictions through our managed service relationship with the Abenaki.
Appreciate that. And we'll wrap up here, Michael. I'll pass the baton back to you so you can reiterate some of the upcoming milestones on a timeline basis that investors can look forward to.
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. Thanks, everybody who took the time to listen today. I think we described a very exciting future, a number of initiatives that are underway with NorthStar Gaming. We've made significant progress from a financial perspective. It wasn't long ago that we had just launched the business and got it started. Now with a strong team in place, and we're replicating many of the good things quarter over quarter. I think you can see that with a strong Q2, and we'll continue to drive our strategic initiatives. Those strategic initiatives, as I mentioned, are operational excellence, continuation of our product innovation, enhance our strategic partnerships, and take advantage of the rapid market expansion to accelerate our growth. And with that, look forward to updating shareholders in the future of our progress. Thanks,
Well said, Michael. And thank you. And thanks for everyone for joining today. Again, NorthStar trades in Canada under the symbol BET and in the US under the symbol NSBBF. Today's webinar recording will be sent to all registrants and will also be made available on the company's website at northstargaming.ca. If you have any additional questions that have not been addressed or that you have not already submitted, please email us at northstar@rbmilestone.com. Again, that's northstar@rbmilestone.com. Thanks again. That concludes today's webinar. Hope you all have a great rest of your day.